Okay, Edo-chan. This is your 30-minute replay review, 32-minute replay review for looks to be Juno. So here I have the thing. What is the replay code? There it is. So it's a flashpoint. Why I'm watching this VOD? This match felt. Let me open this because I know you wrote a lot here. This match felt like I was playing Juno worse than usual. Sitting back and rewatching this, I felt like I struggled to get a feel of our tempo at the first point, and after my first death, I felt the pace better. Maybe it's my positioning that was bad instead? Question mark. Um, yeah, maybe. I don't know. You tell me. What are you looking for help with? My character review gave me a new perspective on how I play my hero, so I'd love something to focus on for Juno. Juno is actually my most played hero, and I'm starting to doubt what value I can bring, as I find really bad matches hard to do anything, but close winning matches tend to be easy to influence at Juno. Am I just not seeing the benefit I'm providing here? Is it really to stay alive and do a lot of small things? Is that happening here? Perhaps my Kiriko expectations are influencing my expectations here too. Short answer is what would a master Juno do differently than what you're doing? Okay, because I believe you're done. Find something to focus on and prove that isn't bad. Aim, which I mentioned before, is an issue. Can we make Masters Juno Kiriko out of this? Okay, I'll be straightforward with you. I think Juno is probably amongst the 3 worst characters in the entire game out of every single role to rank up as. Juno is kind of a bad hero in ranked. Good hero in organized play. It's pretty strong. But strong because of the ult and your ability to enable teammates. And the fact of the matter is that in ranked, that's just not that good of a way to win. There's lots of characters who kind of have this problem, like Mercy, like Lifeweaver. Anybody else really? Moira gets to be this way, but higher rank. There's some stuff you can do, but yeah, Moira's a little bit like that. I think that's basically it, actually. Honestly, I think I was saying this the other day. There's really only 3 characters that I have anxiety about when it comes to when I see them in people's heroes pools, and when I'm not particularly excited to look over the code, because most of the time the answer is literally just that you have to stat farm, and that's how you win. And the thing is, you winning is not particularly interesting. It's like the only possible way that you can win on Juno more than you can win on all the other supports is that you have the mechanics to headshot people, because that's literally the only skilled expression on the character besides basic cover usage, which you do on every support. There's just not that much to it. Now, we're probably going to find some inefficiencies that you have. It's the same way that we find inefficiencies on other characters. But the thing is, yeah, I'll see really good players, but if like there's a completely reasonable expectation that if I took, like, I know this one guy who's like GM2 on Juno. If I put him into a diamond lobby, I think he'd probably have like a 60% chance to win, maybe 65% chance to win, which is a little better than like you can do for a GM Mercy. I put a GM Mercy in the same lobby and they maybe have 55 to 60% chance to win. It's not that good. Zenyatta, they would win almost 100% of the time. Wu Yang, almost 100% time. Moira, almost 100%. You know what I mean? Like almost all of these characters, um, they just you just can have so much influence on the game, and you can do so much. Um, Juno is probably the best of these 3, um, because Juno can farm higher stats than those guys, and Juno also has the ability to headshot people. But if you've talked about struggling with your mechanics before, then you're going to kind of run into an issue playing the character, and it's going to slow you down a lot in comparison to Kiriko, where Kiriko, again, if I played Kiriko, even in Diamond, if I played Kiriko, and I'm not super high rank, if I played Kiriko in Diamond, I'd probably have like an 80% win rate. Okay, so that being said, it's, the choice is yours, but let's look at Juno and see if you're doing anything crazy. Okay, healing your guy. See, if you're Kiriko, you could Suzu that. It's the most obvious pet in the world, and now all of a sudden that guy is fucked because your 3 teammates right there would be absolutely full health. Reinhardt's low on resources, and you win the fight already. Already you would have won if you were Kiriko, and you can't win because you're Juno. Juno, it's really hard to help your team recover from such mistakes, right? He's been pinned again. What can you do? Nothing. You cannot do anything in the situation you were just in. There's no god play you could have made. Your queen got pinned twice in a row. That's it. So shoot him to death, and you just keep moving. And you can't get upset by the things that you can't do as Juno. You're just going to have to continue to do your best to stat farm, just like this. You heal the guy, you heal the guy. Now, what cooldown have you never used so far? I feel like I haven't seen you use your torpedoes at all. Torpedoes is probably the only skill expressive part of this character besides headshotting people. The speed ring, people overcomplicated it. They say, oh, you got to use good speed rings all the time. It literally is a completely useless cooldown in ranked, all the way up to GM. The reason that's the case is because nobody knows how to use speed, and you're not in comms with any of these people. So what you do with Speed Ring is you're basically just going to throw it when you see your team taking any type of aggressive action. Just kind of throw it roughly towards your tank. It also gives you a speed boost. Now, sometimes if the enemy team has lots of dive characters, you might not want to do that. Sometimes the other use for Speed Ring is that when you throw it out, you get the speed boost. So you throw it on your team or somewhere once you're being dived so that you can quickly escape your dive and outrun them by either double jumping like crazy, gliding, and having your insane speed. And then just like fighting back on the guy normally. Normally you want to fight back if it's only like 1 or 2 guys. And you have some help, you can fight back. If you're completely alone or it's like ball or something, you probably just have to run because he will just stat check you and say, I don't care. You probably can't kill me. It's just so much damage you'd need to do. You would literally have to reload your gun before you kill ball. And he doesn't take him that long to kill you, but you can make yourself hard to hit. Yep, this is fine. This is normal. There's nothing wrong with your positioning. Would anything have changed if you had been over here, for example? No, it would be exactly the same as just happened. Your queen got pinned again. What can you do? Literally nothing. Hooray. Okay. Nice. Torpedoes. Good. Finally, we see them. It's a good throughput cooldown. You just want to see as many people as you can. And ideally, we use our torpedoes as often as possible. Now, into a shield tank, they can just turn off all the value that you get onto them. But sometimes you have good opportunities to off-angle or go over the people that you can land the torpedoes on. Nice. That's a good speed ring. You're right. You just put it onto people. Got your torpedoes out. Very good. Stat farm. Stat farm. Yes. Yep. Perfect. Yeah, just using the speed ring is probably good enough. And you're stat farming. And we're stat farming. Nice torpedoes. Don't let the Rhine escape. What? Hello? This guy is in the middle of currently dying. If you shot him once, he'd be dead. Okay, he's dead anyways. Good. Good, good, good. Yeah, you left that guy to his death. You're the one that goes back and kill him. That's good. Yeah, good. So yeah, you're living and stat farming. That's the hero identity. And then you use your torpedoes whenever there's like a bigger encounter. It looks like you're doing it mostly right. The main things I'd say from watching the first little bit is that I think you're positioned well. I don't think you could have done anything different really, most of it, except for use your torpedoes a little bit more. That's it. Obviously, you could always land more headshots because, again, like that's the best way. If you want to play Juno, the best way. The thing is, Juno seems to attract people who have bad mechanics, and it's such a frustration for me because they never want to work on actually improving their mechanics. They'll just say things like, "Oh, well, mechanics are bad," and then just ignore it and then never do anything about it, and then they don't win. And that's that's how it is. Nice. Nice. I like that you speed ring him as soon as the Reinhardt gets close. You have a good instinct for when to use the speed ring, I think. And then yeah, we're still just stat farming. You should use your ult right now. Yep. Good. Nice speed ring. Yep. And we send the torpedoes out. That's perfect. That's what you want to do. Basically, every time you ult, that's kind of exactly how you want to ult. Fight's about to start. I drop my ult. I throw a speed ring for my teammate. I'm gonna get my torpedoes ready. I'm gonna glide around and make sure I land a bunch of them on everyone as they're going in. And it just is this completely overwhelming, it's like face roll. Like you just roll over him and kill him. It's so bad, like for the enemy. You're really safe this game. A lot of times as this character, you're gonna get a lot of people pestering you all the time, and you have to flex your evasion skills and your ability to use like vertical cover and stuff like that. This game you're pretty safe, so most of the time you can actually just chill. Oh god. Oh god. Yeah. So this was an example of that. So how did this occur to you, I wonder? We're chilling, we're chilling. Yeah, so you get surprised by this guy. All you need to do is break line of sight. Break line of sight as swiftly as you can. That's mostly going to be a response to threats. You fight back a little bit, and then you, as you're breaking line of sight, is fast and creating distance. Here, your issue is that you react to this strangely. So you do speed ring, which is probably what you need to do. Now you need to activate your gliders, right? And see how this guy has the line of sight on you. So we don't want to go that way because that's where he's looking. We want to activate our speed and fuck off this way or something. Or you could fuck off this way. Both of these will break line of sight, and there's nobody who can kill you because you're basically just speeding away. So always remember that when you're playing the character. When you are under pressure like this, we're going to speed ring, we're going to glide, and we're going to speed away, which means not forwards and not to the side, but it's going to be away. You got to go away. Away. So here, you don't go away, and you get shot to death. You got scared because you slipped a little bit forward, but it's okay to slip a little bit forward like that. Like, I don't really dislike your positioning. You just didn't react properly to the threat. So it wasn't like a macro misunderstanding of you or anything, or like some sort of positional failure. I think that was fine, because you do kind of want to sometimes be able to challenge people. Like if you had kind of been expecting that guy a little bit more, you probably could have started shooting him, and you guys are kind of even, and maybe he doesn't do as much damage, but then you can still just speed away. Nice. I like that you're using the vertical aspect of the map. Good. We're getting some damage out. We're getting some headshots, and that guy actually dies. Look how valuable it is to just shoot some headshots. Very good. Nice torpedoes. Hyper ring. Good. Yep. Nice. Creating distance. Keep creating distance. So there's a push-pull thing on Juno that's pretty important to know. So a lot of times you're gonna have this where you just got shot at, so you created some distance and you kite along the walls and stuff like that. Once you're safe though, you don't want to keep like all the way out. I still want you to create some distance. Maybe you might want to play back here because the hogs are the corner. So create some distance still, but you don't always want to go so far out that you just like turn off the fight. Like once you have your shit back, which let's see. Like right here, you have your ring, you have the move speed bonus or whatever. You just kind of get intimidated into like moving this way and then this way, whereas instead we can go this way like this. If the hog wants to try to hook you, he has to contend with queen and the other guy shooting you all the time, and you're really, really hard to hit. Same thing with this guy, right? And then you can torpedoes your guys and stuff. What happens here is that you kind of just leave. He goes predictably towards the hog, or sorry, towards the queen. And you can't torpedoes all these guys. This would be a nasty torpedoes. So what's the lesson here? Lesson is you're very, very hard to hit, so it's okay to kind of play riskier positions such as this if you want to like eke out the value in the character. If you're going to play it, you might as well do it right. You might as well commit to being pretty aggressive and manipulate them with your maneuverability. Yep, and we escape. We run away. Good. Good headshots. Very nice. Now we're stat farming. Now, what I'm expecting, I haven't looked at the stats yet. What I'm expecting is, yeah. So, most Junos have this. They have about even damage and even healing a lot of times. But a lot of times, either one of those numbers can be higher than the other by kind of a lot. If I was to play Juno, my damage would probably be a lot higher. But that's because I'm often like going to murder people and stuff. I'd have more limbs and stuff. But it's completely fine to not have that much damage, but have tons of healing as well. The thing for you this game that's been difficult, really, is just comes down to the fact that you can't save your queen. So, and even in that situation I just showed you where you could torpedoes all of them and maybe it makes a difference and keeps helping and, baits some attention or whatever, she probably still dies because she's in a really horrible position. And you don't have any agency to save her. All you can do is do the best you can to boost his stats, right, to help him. So you did that. So if you did that, it could have been a little bit better. But most of the time, every time that you've lost a fight, it's because your queen gets one shot. Juno can't stop that. Some supports can stop that by one-shotting people on their team while that's happening to make it even. And some supports, such as Kiriko, can literally save their life, or like Lifeweaver can literally save their life and prevent that thing from happening. Ooh, nice. That's a creative idea. Creative ideas like that to get the torpedoes out. I like the torpedoes being on cooldown as much as possible, so we love to get those out. Nothing you can do about Hog getting murdered. Or not Hog getting murdered. Cass killing your Imre. That's what I meant to say. I don't know how. I think Hog will hooking your queen at the same time as looking at that. Yeah, get the torpedoes out. Good. Good. Nice. I like that you... See how you're really brave right there and you keep keeping yourself away. Keep farming your stats. Like you're getting the torpedoes out. You're shooting. You're healing. There's not much more to it than that, man. Like you're doing it. You're doing it just fine right there. Like that's perfect. You're doing damage. You're doing healing. Using your torpedoes right. You positioned carefully so that you didn't get killed, and you were like really hard to access while still participating in the fight. Like that's good. Yeah, good to not Juno ult there because like unlike you, your Kiriko believes that you can somehow salvage this point. That's impossible. So good discipline. It was good discipline not to do it first, and then even once you saw the Kitsune rush, I was a little worried that you would have the inkling to just like kind of react to that and also Juno ult. It's very smart that you didn't. That's very good. Like good discipline. Obviously, I like my supports to use ults a lot, especially one as powerful as Juno, and you're looking for really any excuse. But you could tell that was trash. That was pointless. And the cool thing about Juno too is you're gonna have some more success too with some other types of tanks that are like, especially when they're like kind of, you really like the bulkier tanks that sort of like a little bulkier the Queen, more like Roadhog, more like Reinhardt, more like Zarya, bulkier tanks, Diva, people who are pretty good at protecting you, like the team in general, and creating that presence of Ramatra, for example, who benefit from speed. You like that kind of stuff. Queen's a middle ground. She's like okay, she's not as bad as like somebody like Doomfist would be for you. But yeah, you'll have easier games too on this character than probably this one. Nice, good spotting that. Your awareness is, I think, pretty good. It seems like you're always kind of knowing and noticing what's going on. Yeah, good Juno ult. Got the torpedoes going. You don't have to be so worried about getting the damage out for them. You can literally just let it rip those heal ones, because the thing is, while they do damage and it's nice, you can still just rip the heal ones and then just spend more time like immediately shooting people. Like if you don't have the damage immediately. But see, it doesn't really matter. Like, but that's the good habit to be into, is like Juno ult, and then you want to do your missiles just like that. Very nice. Just don't get too tunnel on it where you also get killed in your ult, because you can get killed in it. It's kind of hard too, but you can. Nice. You say your mechanics are bad, but honestly, you're doing kind of fine in terms of like, I just don't think you're looking for any of the fights really. And it's a kind of a hard thing to manipulate, especially against characters in the team like Cass and Xion. Like, those are really scary, so it's kind of okay that you're not going for the fight too much, but yeah, look at that. Look at that. Very nice. They have the tree just to live. Good. Good. Yeah, keep this up. Dude, look at you. Very good. Yeah. So you did literally everything you could there again. So this is quite nice. This is quite nice. What I like about this whole sequence, I like this torpedoes from the angle like this. This is very smart, right? I like your proactive positioning so that you can help your tank and you're helping everybody and you're damaging enemies all at the same time. That's good. Generally speaking, Juno does enjoy being able to see enemies and allies at the same time and having high ground positions like this, so you can glide around and shoot your things if you want to. It's good. You're helping your guy, you're speeding him at the right time so that he could like either run away from that guy if they all push him, or he can aggress on them if he needs to. You're doing damage and shooting your torpedoes and stuff. Pistolling the fight until the bitter end. Unfortunately, your team's kind of dead. And could you have saved them? Not really. Maybe. On a different character, but I don't think there's like a way that you could have somehow magically, mysteriously saved them as Juno, right? I think you were doing as much as you could. So fights like that are going to happen. Hopefully they don't tilt you too much. You're being productive there. That's what we're looking for. That's good. This is good too. I like this. I like this missiles. Don't be too greedy for them though, because we don't want to sit around hanging there forever. Because we are not necessarily having any value while we're just sitting there like holding it. You do have a tendency to kind of hold it for too long. We're like, you know, we're just hanging there in the air, not healing or damaging, like waiting for, you know, the longer you wait, the worse it gets. So try to immediately send it, even if it's not that good. Like just sending it's pretty good. Yep. Very nice. Now you're looking for a missile somehow. Jesus Christ. Okay, you look away from the Queen for a second, he gets hooked, and he is irreversibly dead. Nothing you could do unless you were Kiriko. That's it. That's the only character that can save him from that. There's no ability of your kit to stop him from being hooked. And it's not like you could just like see that he got hooked and then go try to trade somebody out. You can't do that either. Okay, but we have our powerful thing soon. Yep, you're doing the classic. Beautiful. Those ults are just killer, man. Every time you do that, you win. You have that down. That's exactly what you're up to with the ult. And you've done it the same way every time. You've done a good one every time. I'm really confident in your ability to see that. That's good. And it's always like exactly how I'd like you to execute it. Running away from the danger. And then I like this. This is really good too. So you run away from the danger there. And then as soon as, first off, you didn't use your glide because you're like seeing if there's commitment level. And then you didn't see it, so you didn't glide. And then what's even better is that you come back here, also not using your glide. You come back in here. What do you need to do right now? Holy shit, torpedoes. You come back in here anyways, and yeah, you're still kind of flirting with the edge and baiting people to come after you maybe. You need torpedoes like crazy. You missed a chance to get a nasty torpedo there. You're a little lacking in using it. Like, you don't use it that many times. You use it really nicely with your ult, and there's a couple times that you use it. But honestly, I'd say in the majority of these fights, like let's say we break down each point into like 3 major fights, I'd say at least 66% of them you haven't even used the torpedoes at all. When you do use them, they're pretty good, but it's like you're only using them when it looks really perfect. But even there, like, yeah, nice. Get him out. Get the speed, cool. Nice. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, because as soon as it's available, right? That's good. You're having big impact on this one. Nice. Yeah. Okay, so when it's obvious, you at least are starting to catch up. You're missing the not so obvious ones. Like maybe we're about to enter with my team. I'm gonna speed ring them and I'm gonna torpedo them all as they're entering to attack an area where it's like more congested and less easy for you to see everybody. Where you can just torpedo everybody before you go in, so that they got that passive healing going on them as they're aggressing onto the enemy. Looks like you're about to win. Huh? Victory is yours. Well, no wonder you won. No wonder you won, because you were playing pretty well there at the end, and you're playing pretty well throughout, so, I mean, you won, because you did a good job. Let's look back at your thing again, and let me see, there's stuff that I didn't address. I'm starting to doubt, so, something I love to focus on for Juno, new perspective. Is there new perspective? Well, in terms of, like, what the Kiriko's perspective is, that's a character where I can break it down to literally a micro concept, because of how the character works, we can encourage the shoe thing, which because it kind of handles a lot of stuff at once. For Juno, there's not something quite like that, but there is kind of some rules. So one thing is, like, you want to see enemies and allies at the same time. Like in an ideal Juno position, you kind of want cover, you want a little bit of verticality, where you're like, up off the ground, so you can utilize your mobility, and you want to see enemies and allies at the same time. Maybe not all of the enemies and all of the allies every time, but you kind of want both. But other than that, the way to think about the game is that you're a stat farming hero. And as a stat farming hero, the way you impact the game, the way you increase your team's chance of winning, your gameplay strategy, how do you win as Juno, is to farm more stats than the enemy team. How do you normally do that? Well, normally that means landing lots of impactful torpedoes. So especially she's good on maps where you have all those setups that we talked about, like high ground, verticality, and open sightlines and stuff like that. You like those things because it helps you land more torpedoes and stat farm better. That's why. So that's your goal all the time. When you find it's like, I can't really stat farm from this angle, or I can't stat farm from these positions, you want to look for those where you can. So you can get your torpedoes off and so you can keep shooting. Mechanics is probably the best thing in terms of like electric climbing. Once you become very productive, you can probably hit the masters. If like you're like exceedingly productive and you're always healing and damaging. You notice how you almost never died. Like your positioning was pretty good. Your cover usage was pretty good. And I think you used the speed ring right. Because you even used it when you were under threat. The only weird mistake we saw with one of the deaths was just that you kind of peeled off the wrong direction and not away from the enemy. But yeah, just remember that most of the time you're just trying to break line of sight and kind of juke, like almost like you're trying to like wiggle around little pieces of cover and stuff like that. Because of the fact that you're faster than people as Juno, because of 2 of your abilities that make you quicker, it allows you to, any piece of cover that you can rotate around, you can always dictate that they can't see you because they don't move as fast as you. So if they try to pursue you around cover, you can just switch directions on them and they kind of get stuck on the cover. But yeah, so stat farming, that's your deal. You can headshot people to death and duel them a little bit, but she's very vulnerable to good players, so it's hard to duel, especially as you're breaking into Masters. Almost everybody in the game will smoke you in a 1v1, even if you're good at landing headshots, but that doesn't mean you can't shoot at people. You still do need to shoot at people, and doing damage is good, especially when there's like dive tanks after you and stuff. While you're doing that running away process, if you can maneuver around the map well, it's good because you can shoot them continuously. You can just be shooting at them, doing damage, and like basically putting them on a timer of like, you have to leave or you're gonna die. And I'm running away from you and making myself hard to kill. Am I just not seeing the benefit providing here? Is it really just stay alive and do a lot of small things? Yeah, I mean, it's not even that many small things. It's literally just, yeah, you stay alive just like you were. And I guess by a lot of small things, I mean, it's just lots of numbers. You're playing a numbers game, and you're playing for ults. The more numbers you get, the more ults you get. You probably could have had an extra ult that game had you been a bit more productive and reduced the deaths a little, like slightly, which I think would have been fairly easy to do because it seemed like your team was a lot better than them, and you had a lot of comfort, as you know. Sometimes you're going to have a lot more pressure. There's going to be on runs and dive characters after you, where you're always having to flex your dodge. And ironically, that actually makes you more useful than you were this game. This game's very front to back. You can farm stats like crazy, but sometimes they also have a Juno, and it's not that hard to farm stats like crazy, so you'll go about even with her. Same thing if they have like Moiras and stuff. But when there's dive involved, it actually kind of becomes easier for you to manipulate the game, because if you could just like waste their time and during their dives and manipulate their attention and continue to escape them, you can get some value that way, which is pretty nice. Okay. Is that happening? Is that happening here? So yes, it is happening here. You are staying alive and you are stat farming. You could probably stat farm a little harder and live a little bit better without a couple mistakes that weren't really general to other support stuff. Perhaps my character expectations are influencing my expectations here. Yeah, I'd say so. I think you understand how to play Juno, and this code's kind of asking me like, am I doing it right? And the answer is yes, you're doing it right. If you played Juno like you played in this game, if you just do that for like 100 games, you'll probably be masters. Maybe it might take 200 games, honestly. Because of how, like, you know, when you're doing really well at this character, I never felt like you really had control of that game. And, you know, what happens if that guy hooks my queen 2 more times? We might lose the game. And, again, you can't stop that. And you can't do something else to take advantage of that. Like, you can't go kill somebody. You don't have that burst threat or whatever. So you just do what you can within your means, and the cool part about Juno players that I found is that they like playing the character enough that they'll just endlessly play it, and they have fun playing it. So if you endlessly play it and have fun just playing the character, like it's just enjoyable to be physically playing and using your buttons on the character, then that's fine, because it makes it easy to queue a lot, which is what you need to do. If you're really worried about winning all the time, I wouldn't play Juno, because if you're worried about winning all the time, you're not going to have that much fun on the character, and you're going to just like, if winning or losing dictates how much fun you had, a lot of times you're going to end up, you know, it's kind of like not up to you. So you'll maybe feel like you did bad or had a bad time when you did a good job. And I think in that VOD, you did a good job. Find something to improve at isn't bad aim. Just add productivity into torpedoes. We definitely could have seen probably twice as many torpedoes as you put out that game, at least, probably more. That's probably the difference between you and a master's version of you, is that literally just using the torpedo cooldown more often. So if I go back to the replay, you were Atlas. How many Atlas codes do I have? Oh wait, I'm in the wrong section. Here we go. Let's go back and I'm going to show you something. So skip, 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 skip. All right, watch your torpedo cooldown. I'm just going to put it 2x speed so you can see like all the first point. Just watch the cooldown. First use, right? That's your first use right here. And what does it do? It hits Reinhardt when you could already be shooting with your gun. So it's off cooldown now. So one of the ways that you can dictate, what do I do as Juno? How do I do some more proactive stuff on this character rather than just always reactive, always stat farming? Well, you can look as this character, and what really good Junos are going to do if they're in low rank, where they could probably get a higher win rate, is they're probably going to be using that cooldown. You're going to be keeping an eye on this cooldown down here at the bottom right, your torpedoes cooldown, and you're going to use that to dictate what you do in the fight. So like, I see the cooldowns available, so how do I let that dictate what I'm going to do? How do I do what I'm saying here? Well, because I have the cooldown available, is there a way I can use it right now? Can I use it on any of these guys? No, they're all kind of full health, and you can tell. Okay, well, where are the enemy probably coming from? Well, they're probably coming from towards their spawn. So can I peek out here and see if I can get a big torpedoes on some people and then speed, like, you know, run away? Maybe you could. And maybe you could float out here and catch people on the bridge and get a big torpedoes. That's just more stat farming. But that's good because your ult is so strong. And if you get more ults in a game, it's good. So even though that's kind of trash damage, they're just going to heal it all off before anything happens. You'll probably have the torpedoes back by the time they catch up to your team and the fight actually starts, so you get torpedoes again. But then that would probably give you like 10% ult charge. So little things like that. You'll be using the torpedoes to inform your positioning, inform stuff that you can do. So there's your next one. Good. Let's watch the cooldown now. So I have the cooldown available. You must press it now because it's available. So I see target there, target there, target there, target there, target there. Yeah, right? So any of these things, let's press our torpedoes. You're a little slow, but you got it. Good. Okay, torpedoes available again. Let's find a way to use them. Turn them on. Turn them on. Get them going. And that's the thing. So now you get them going. You should have got them going already, because then you could have healed the guys, and then probably when Reinhardt comes close, you can even lock onto him, and maybe even the Kiri. You can probably hit all 4 of them without having to hold for very long at all. Here we come out. The first thing we need to be thinking about here, as soon as we come out, start getting your torpedoes ready. Right now. They're off cooldown, so you come around this corner. Torpedoes are active. Lock, 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 lock. Got all these people locked on. Bam. We strike all of our teammates, guaranteeing nobody gets picked, and we hit the Kiri. Okay, and they're still here. Go forward a little bit. You fall. Okay, torpedoes on. Torpedoes on. Oh, you're going to ult now, though, at this point. So now you wouldn't, because now you're probably going to use it the next time you ult. But honestly, during the interim period where you were trying to build your ult, you just got it right now. You probably could have gotten torpedoes off somewhere in the last 8 seconds. Yeah, so now you orbit. Torpedoes. And you notice one of these torpedoes hit. It's pretty good. Let's go on. Here, I'd be charging the torpedoes, right? Because I saw a guy there. I see a guy there, kind of, and then we didn't see this guy yet, but I have the torpedoes ready, and it would help me see this guy. And I'm, boom, hitting them all torpedoes, and then I'm flying the fuck away. I'm flying the goddamn fuck away. My first reaction, right, because I have it off cooldown, is how can I use it? Is there a way that I can benefit from them? It's off cooldown now, so again, a good Juno would probably get a torpedoes out before the fight if they could. They might try gliding over here or something like that, and landing some torpedoes on some people and maybe try and get out. Or maybe they might do it from some weird angle or something like that. But just sitting on it a lot is not super good when you think you can space them out and get another one back by the time of the fight. Here, you're definitely needing the torpedoes, right? You need to. Put it on, go up, come a little bit out, boom, 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 and then you come back. And you're avoiding getting hooked, right? Because you're fast. And he just dies instantly anyways. Now you're coming out with torpedoes. That's very good. So you didn't use it then, but you use it now. And again here, because I have the torpedoes, right, that means I'm probably not going to run off like this, like you did, where you ran out of the fight, because I know I'm holding on to my best ability to impact the fight, so I kind of want to look for a chance to use it. They're coming soon. My teammates are right there, so I'm in a position where I'll probably see anything that happens there, so I'm looking for that, and I'm going to get those torpedoes out. So I'll come back here. I'm going to see those guys. Torpedoes are charging, and it hits everybody. And your queen gets fucking killed, but at least you did some damage. At least you did a little bit more healing. Good torpedoes. And that's kind of shit that you find too when you're looking to use them all the time. You can also find creative ways on the maps to use them, just like you did there. So that's a very good use. Here we have the torpedoes available, so we're looking for a chance. You already got them on. Yep, there you go. Good. And the impact of that is pretty known. It takes your team a lot longer to die, and you get more stats. They've been available, so while they're available, we need to look at all these people who are low. Instead of shooting them all like this, get those torpedoes torpedo with them. Yeah, I think you get the idea. I think you get the idea on that regard. But that's the last little bit of shit I could say for Juno. I hope there's something in there that can help you out a little bit. I know I'm not necessarily negative towards Juno. It's just that it just is what it is, and I want to be realistic as possible. But in terms of how to play, it looks good. It looks like you probably would already get to Masterful 5, Masters 5 or so. If you just play like that most of the games. If you have issues that I didn't see in there that are common to other games, like maybe against Dive you just completely screw up, let me know. Let me know in DMs, and I can try to solve it. The best of my ability. But yeah, that's basically it. Good luck, and let me know how it goes.